Hello, hello, hello. We are live. Hello, Chris. How are you today?
Good morning, Mary. I'm doing wonderful. I'm getting ready for this wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
That's right. And how appropriate that we have called today's show Memories and Mementos in honor of Memorial Day weekend. I didn't even think
Absolutely.
about that.
I know. We're so clever.
We are. So brilliant. Yes, yes. Well, good. Well, today we're talking about memories and mementos, and we've had a lot of questions come in, Chris, about what different things that people can get, order, buy
Sure.
that they can remember their loved one. Now, I want to say up front, this is something that sometimes people complain about funeral homes is that they've been pressured to buy things and
Yeah.
they're spending too much money. And what would you say about that when people like say that things or they get out of control? What is your thing?
Well, we take a different approach to it. I know a lot of people think that there's a lot of us that are like just preying on those that are grieving, and we try to take advantage of them. Here at Thomas Miller Mortuary and all the companies that we have, we really try to educate our families. And it's not about nobody works on commission here. We are just here to give people the opportunity to memorialize their loved ones, be it if they're being buried or cremated. There's still an opportunity for people to do memorialization, so then they can keep their loved one close to their heart.
I love it. I
Yep.
love it because it's so true. Because sometimes after the fact, you're not thinking about like, oh, I could have done something, or I didn't know that was even available. So today
Yeah.
is the day that we're going to talk about what options you have to memorialize your loved one. So the first thing we're going to talk about is
Yeah.
what mementos are available. Now, there's a lot, people.
Oh my
So
goodness.
and I didn't even say this. If you guys again think this is going to help someone, comfort them, or give somebody who is interested in this, please share this in your community. Just share on your Facebook page. Or if you have a question or you have something that you have ordered, like I'll give you an example. When my mother passed away, my sister in law was so sweet. She took some of the clothes from my mom when after she passed away, and she had teddy bears made.
Hmm.
And there were pieces of my mom's clothing all stitched together. And it is such a special memento that we have these teddy bears from my mom's clothes. And that was such a special thing
Yeah.
that we keep. So today we're going to talk about these kind of mementos that we can keep after our loved one has gone to heaven. So I'm going to go off screen. So I'd love,
Okay.
Chris has pulled a lot of really fun things that to share with us today. You're going to be kind of like Vanna White today, Chris. I just want
I
you to be
am.
prepared.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got a lot of things to show, and we'll just kind of go through a few things, and I'll show maybe three or four items, and then we can go off screen, and then we can go with something else, and we'll just show some stuff throughout the whole show today.
I love it. Okay, so let's kind of give like an overview of some of the things that you have pulled that we can share of mementos that you can get for remembering your loved one.
Sure. So there's lots of different options depending on what your family is wanting. And so when you come into one of our facilities, we have an array, an assortment of memorialization items for you to choose from. So like one of them here, like all of our families, when they come into our care, we thumbprint all of our loved ones, all of our clients. And then what we can do is, depending on if they're buried or cremated, we can still do a beautiful Thumbie pennant. And the Thumbie pennant is um, an impression of their thumbprint. And it can't be just jewelry. We can also do it on like a flask, so the thumbprint is there on the flask. We've also got like little ball markers here, so it's really cool. I'll zoom in there. You can see kind of the prints there. So those are some that anybody being buried or cremated can still do some memorialization. A lot of our other memorialization is more cremated related. So if we have cremated remains, then we can put them into other types of keepsakes, such as even like a piece of blown glass. And so the ashes are infused inside of those types of items, and they could be globes or orbs, or they can get really fancy and kind of be like little heart-shaped mementos. So it's kind of really cool. So it comes with a little stand, so you can put it up. People wouldn't even realize that there's cremated remains in there, so you could have it out on your desk, you could have it on your mantle, and people say, "Oh, that's a beautiful piece of art," and it's just very, you say, inconspicuous. And so people, your loved one could be very close to you, either with a piece of jewelry or pendant or a piece of glass, blown glass, that's just really cool. So there's some other items we'll show here in just a little bit, but those are just a tidbit of some of the items that we have to show you here today.
I love it. Those are really cool. And so when we were setting up the show, we were pulling some different things that I thought I would love to have. Like I thought, oh, this is so lovely. So you just had kind of shown a couple pieces of the art. Not only can it stand on a little stand, but you also have like it. You could put it like on a lit
Yes.
thing that so it kind of glows a little bit, which is
I
really
have that here. So here's a little base that it
okay.
has an LED light on there. And then if you put the orb on top of it, it lights this really cool design up onto the ceiling and the walls of your home. And you again,
Ooh.
this one here is a navy blue, but we have like 15 to 20 different colors that you can infuse into the glass. So you could either choose your loved one's favorite color or your favorite color. And then they also have different types of designs that they twist the glass into. So you could do something just unique just for yourself or your family member.
Oh, that's so nice. And what's
Yeah,
so cool is each piece of art is really unique, right?
absolutely. Just
Because
like your
and
loved
it's
one.
it, oh,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So it does. It becomes something very special. Something that you kind of held up a little bit was thummies.
Mhm.
Okay. And I know that like we're like, oh my gosh. So like you had said in another show that as part of the identification process with
Yeah.
the government, you take a thumbprint
Mhm.
so you can register that person as deceased so someone cannot steal their identity.
That's right.
Really, really smart. I mean, I think the fact that you do that is awesome.
Yeah.
And then from there, like you said, you could make jewelry, you could make, and did you have like a golf? What was it that some of the different things you could make with the thummies?
This is like a little divot fixer upper and a ball
Okay.
marker, so you can take the and it's got your loved one's little thumbprint on there, and
Cute.
you can keep it on the hat. You usually clip it to the bill of your hat if you're a golfer, or you can
Okay.
keep it in your pocket. But it's a
Okay.
nice little for someone that's a little bit more masculine. They can have that instead of a type of a pendant that we have.
Right. And then
And
there
then
was was there a flask?
there was a flask here, so you can do two sides on the flask. So you could actually engrave a photograph of your loved one with some special messages, and then
Nice.
on the back side is their thumbprint. And this little thing, this little pop out comes out, and it actually makes a little shot glass with your flask.
So
So
you
it's
can
really
toast your
cool.
loved one.
Absolutely.
I love it. And I saw down there's like a little inscription. It looks like their signature.
It says like "Love, Dad." Yeah, and they
Love
have their
that.
signature on the front here. It has their signature and their photograph, so it makes it very
Aw.
customized. So if you have your signature of your loved one, they can actually engrave that on there and make it very personalized.
Oh, I love that. That is
Yeah.
so nice. I know that my mom, when she passed away, we, of course, being Irish, we had a wake.
Yes, of
And so
course.
we would say, "Cheers to Gloria," and then everyone would, cheers or whatever. And so, like on the anniversary of her passing, her first anniversary, we went to her gravesite and we brought champagne and
Yep.
we would cheers to Gloria. And so that flask would be something that would be really
A
cool.
very touching memory.
Yes, that's awesome. And some of the smaller items make it nice for even like I know this sounds weird to say party favor, but like a little memento for your guests. Did you tell me that people have done that before where they've made something
Yeah.
to
So
given it to
well,
everybody?
we do. We have families will do like little mementos. Like maybe if somebody was a golfer, we would actually have a golf ball, and then we can engrave their name on a golf ball and hand that out as a memento. We've also done like if grandma loves C's candy, families have given out little pieces of C's candy at the end of the service, like one of those little C's lollipops and stuff, just as a little memento. So it doesn't have to be a permanent memorialization. It's just maybe a memory for the day. Now we've also done things where when people do cremated remains and they like to scatter their ashes, there's a couple ways that we can pay tribute to a loved one. If you're getting a group of your family members together on like a boat, you can do a couple things. We have these miniature salt urns. They're Himalayan salt. And what we do is we could put cremated remains into there. You could either keep them around your home or else you could throw them into the ocean and then they would dissolve in the ocean and then their ashes would be dissolved. Also, we've got these little paper mache turtles. I know a friend of mine, he's a surfer and he says, "Chris, someday when I goes, you make sure my family puts me in a giant turtle so then we can go ahead and take the boat out into the ocean and they can have a little ceremony and the turtle will float on the water for a little bit while you have a ceremony, then it'll fill up with water and it'll sink to the bottom of the ocean and then the ashes will disperse into the water. So it's kind of a little bit more dignified way of dispersing ashes than having the ashes kind of flying all over the air when you go out onto a boat, because sometimes that could be a little cumbersome when you do that. There's one other type of thing that we've been offered here in the last couple of years, and it's called parting stones. The parting stones are actually your cremated remains that are made into rocks. And these rocks then can be either put into a fish bowl, they could be tossed into the lake, they could be just put into a nice little vase with some flowers or something. So they don't dissolve, they're a permanent rock. And so what we do is we take a sampling of the cremated remains that we have here, we take the remains, and then they can make rocks. And you'll get anywhere from maybe 30 to 50 different rocks. And they're about the size of a golf ball. Some are bigger, some are smaller. And depending on your loved one's cremated remains and the elements in their body, some of the stones could actually be a little bit, maybe a little gray, a little light blue or green. Depending on the elements and minerals that are within the body, the rocks can change colors a little bit. So that's kind of a cool thing too. So those are ones more for scattering and dispersing the ashes in the future instead of holding on to them. Because everybody thinks of it a little differently. Some people like to hold on to the remains to keep them close to them. Some people may want to take them to a special place where their loved one remembered, such as the ocean or a lake or somewhere in the woods or a forest where they can disperse their ashes in a dignified manner. So we give all those options to families when they come in. We show them the whole array of options. And again, we have them here on site. And we tell a lot of people, we serve a lot of families, but there's people that we don't serve for services and cremation, but they'll call us and say, hey, do you have any urns available? We have urns available. If you see, there's some of them here behind me today. We keep a lot of inventory on site here. So for those families that are just wanting something like last minute, or they haven't thought about it, you can come on in and you can actually purchase something actually right here on our showroom. We probably have about 30 or 40 items to choose from every day of the week. Now, if you're doing something special or customized, that might take a week or two, but we do have urns available for you just to as a whim, or if you wanted to get something as an extra memento, we have little keepsakes too. And we'll go into that more in just a little bit.
I love that. Yeah, when you're jumping ahead, I love it. You have
I
so
know.
get so excited.
I
And
am.
I love it. So, something that you said, like these are things that people can, like you said, just if they want to give it a what, disperse. What did you call it?
Yeah, disperse or share with other family members. Sometimes you have a large family, and so maybe instead of having one container of urn or ashes, you can divide them up into littler segments so everybody has their own little portion.
Right. Well, that kind of leads into our next thing. What kind of gifts can you make from the ashes?
Sure.
Something that I didn't realize is that, in fact, you held up something that I thought maybe somebody would be curious about. In fact, oh, I wanted to let you know that we have some people on live with us this
Nice.
morning. So, Becky's, good morning, Becky. So
Morning,
glad you're
Becky's.
here. And Kathy, this is awesome. And Bill, good morning, Bill.
Morning, Bill.
Also, also Steve, Steve Reno says, show and tell. I love it. Yes,
Yep.
that's exactly what we're doing. But what kind of gift? So again, you can and the ashes that you had in that little sample are not human remains. Those are animal
Yeah,
remains.
typically,
Just as
yeah.
an example.
Any of our samples that we have here, we use animal remains for
Right.
our displays. That's we can legally do that. We can't just put out people's ashes.
No.
So these are just animal remains as to show as an example, as a sample.
Yes. So when I was in there, I was very curious. I was like,
Yeah,
what's that? So I thought somebody watching might be like, what's that?
no, they're
Yeah.
animal remains.
Well, you mentioned about the rocks, and you said those rocks don't dissolve.
That is
So
correct.
that could be something you could skip on a lake,
Yep.
maybe private lake, or you could actually put those in your garden,
You
right?
can put them in your garden, and you can actually write, like if you took a Sharpie marker, you could actually write on these rocks too, these stones. So
Okay.
you can customize it and write, dad or your loved one's name on there. And so and you can, since you get, 20 to 30, 40 rocks, you can give a lot of those away to a lot of your family members too, as they have just like a touching stone.
I
There was
love
another.
that. Oh, we
This,
also have it looks like we have Janice. Good morning, Janice. Janice is joining us as
good
well.
morning.
Yeah, so if anybody has any, we'd love to hear maybe what you have chosen in the past. If you have someone in your life that has passed, did you ever choose any mementos that you still have, or maybe you gave
That's right.
away? We'd love to hear about that as well. Yes. Okay. Go. I'm sorry, Chris. You just
Nope.
said.
No, I was gonna say, and when it comes to like materials, there's so many things. Like here we have We have a wooden heart that they've engraved on with their loved one's photograph. And then
Ooh,
you can put the cremated remains in there. So there's wooden keepsakes, there's metal keepsakes.
I like that one a lot. It's
This one
pretty.
here is a little angel, and it's made out of a resin, but it looks like sand. So it looks almost like a little sand angel.
But the ashes are in that resin?
The ashes that actually we would put the ashes in the bottom. There's a little hole here, and then in the
Oh,
bottom, in the base of this angel, in the base, some ashes would go in here.
oh, I see, but it's just a small amount.
It's a small amount, yeah. And so
Okay.
you can give these out to a lot of family members because these are very economical. And so you can purchase like 4 or 5 of these and give them to each little, like maybe the grandchildren or something as a little memento.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go off screen, but I want you to show some other gifts. I mean, just those are
Sure.
gifts that have the things, but also you have some jewelry that I think is really pretty.
Yes.
That you can actually from the ashes make like they look like diamonds. So I'm going to go off screen and have you show those as well.
Sure. So in addition, we do these are like custom jewelry here. So these here are pieces of blown glass that have ashes infused into them. And so it's really unique. This company here is in Southern California. They're down in the San Diego area. And what we'll do is we'll just take a small portion of the ashes, and I'll zoom in on them a little bit. They have different colors and different shapes and styles. And then so again, you could wear this around your neck. People wouldn't even realize that there's cremated remains in that little necklace there. There's another item that's kind of for those people that are kind of in the art world and into like geology. This here's a geode, and if I look real close, this is metal, but what you do is you take your cremated remains and we give them to this company, and then they infuse it, and it creates a special color and design based on your DNA and your chemical makeup of your own ashes. So each one of these are very unique in style, and it's really cool. And again, it's another different piece of artwork that you can put out on display that's very kind of more modern looking. It's not as like traditional as like a little urn keepsake that we have here, like these little urn shaped urns. These are nice for people, but if you're looking for something a little bit more out of the ordinary and a little bit more unique, we have something like this. One really last item that's kind of large that we offer here, and a lot of these things are unique to our funeral home. So not all funeral homes in Southern California carry like the memory glass or the Dolly Libby glass, the geodes. Since I work with partnerships with some of my suppliers, and so they kind of give me some exclusivity in an area. So like within 20, 30, 40 miles of here, no one else can hold some of these urns. So some of these are very unique to this region. So if you see any of these items, some of them are on our website too. You can always just go there and take a look, and my staff can assist you in getting those. But one last item I wanted to show before we move on, for those of you that are in really unique situation and you want to do something one of a kind, what I did is I took a photograph of my own little dog here. Here's little Bella. She's a little Shih Tzu, and she recently just passed away about a month ago. And I was able to take a picture of her from a year or two ago, and I was able to create a 3D life-size urn of Bella. So here's Bella, and I'm going to be putting her ashes in here after this weekend because I just got her back from the vet. And I thought, well, isn't that cool that I can have a life-size Bella of my dog with her cremated remains in there? You can do all sorts of special 3D urns. It takes about 5 or 6 weeks to make it. You bring several pictures in. You could do either little trucks. You could do a picture of your house or your log cabin, your animal. You could do a 3D urn of your own head if you wanted to. So there's no limit to what you can do. You just need several different pictures with several different angles. You provide them with about 8 to 10 photographs of a 360-degree view of whatever you want made, and they can make an urn about a little bit larger than a bowling ball. So it's a fairly large size structure to put your loved one's cremated remains into. So they're not infused into the urn. They'd be hollowed out, and you would put the ashes inside of it after you receive it back.
That's really cool. So that's
Yeah.
actually And I know that some people might think, oh, that's kind of weird, but with 3D printing, so much is possible.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment, right?
No,
And so
no,
if it brings you comfort to have your
that's
little
right.
puppy that you can look out in your
That's
backyard, and
right.
that's something you could put outside, right? It's not like it would.
No, it's like made out of resin or yeah, it's like a plasticky resin. It's a 3D urn, and yeah, it's waterproof, so you can put it outside if you wanted to put it out. Any of these things. So if you made a bouquet of flowers out of a 3D urn, you could do that. It's limitless of what you can do with an urn. Because if it was like a vase of flowers, the vase part would hold the ashes, and then you could do these flowers that would be like fake flowers, but they look really pretty real. They would do a really good job at it.
That is amazing. Yeah, so I just anybody who's just joining us today, we're talking about memories and mementos of ways that you can memorialize your loved one.
Yeah,
And it's really cool that you pointed out that you have an exclusive on some of these businesses that you are the only one in the area that does that, which is really
yeah,
important to know. And what's cool, Chris, is that you've created these partnerships with local artisans,
yes,
local small businesses. So you're really helping the local economy. So we
yes,
really appreciate that. And so we just talked about what kinds of gifts can be made of ashes. So you can make art, you can make jewelry. In fact, that was something that we talked about a long time ago. Let's say a little girl, her father passed away, before maybe she was a young teenager.
yep,
You could actually have, because it's a little bit longer process to compress ashes into like a diamond.
yes.
So it would take a little longer, but wouldn't it be lovely to give as a graduation gift, a wedding gift, have a little diamond that is a little piece of her father? Like I don't know why,
Yes.
I thought that sounded very sweet.
We do. We offer. It's called Life Gem. Is a company that we work with in making real diamond from your loved one's cremated remains. So we usually take about a cup, about 8 to 10 ounces of the ashes, and we ship it to this company. It takes about 9 months to a year to actually make a diamond of your
Wow.
loved one, and
Wow.
then and the price of it is like the price of a diamond. So you're going to spend anywhere from like $7,000 to $12,000 on this process of getting a diamond back, and it would be at the end. It is etched with like a little ID number, so you know
Okay.
it's your diamond, and it comes with all the official paperwork and everything of what you've asked for. Because depending on the process, the diamond could either be red, orange, yellow, green, blue, or clear
Oh,
based upon the length of time. So the longer the time of the compression of the carbon of the ashes will get you a clearer diamond. So they'll start
oh,
off in a color, but as you go through, that's why clear white diamonds are the most, because it takes the longest to get a clear white diamond. That's why all the other gemstones don't cost as much, because they haven't cultivated as long to get to that level.
interesting. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah.
That's very fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so worth the wait.
well, and it's like, and we got that education when we were talking to this company. They were explaining how the whole process works and what the level is. So you appreciate the value of what you're getting, because it does take longer and you have to have more
Right,
patience for
right.
that clear white diamond.
Yeah. So it's good to plan ahead, right?
Absolutely.
So something that you would have in the future.
And just on a side note, you don't actually need to do the diamond. You don't even need to have cremated remains. You could have your hair. So if we could have actually 8 ounces, if you want to shave your head, Mary, you could shave all your hair off, and we can send it to the company. They can make a diamond from your hair.
Wow, some days when I'm frustrated with it, I might take you up on that offer. Just shave
Okay.
it right off.
All
Make me a
right.
diamond.
Okay.
That'd be awesome. Well,
Yeah.
our last question that came in
Yeah.
about urns, you already touched on a few urns, and urns
Yes.
can be made out of anything. You just said
Absolutely.
you have a 3D printing of your dog. You could have a whatever. And in fact, another show we talked about that in your La Sierra location,
Yes.
someone brought in a tequila bottle
Yep.
as the urn. So it's not something they have to buy from you. So we started at the beginning of the show saying you're not wanting to sell. So it's not like you make a lot of money on this. Like
No.
it's just you're giving options of what they can order. But if
Yes.
they want to bring in their own urn,
They
what
can
are
do that.
besides the tequila bottle? Is there anything else anyone has ever brought in?
People people have brought in coffee cans.
Okay.
There was a gentleman that actually brought in a birdhouse. He actually he was a word worker, and he created and built his own birdhouses. So
Oh,
he built birdhouses, and then he just closed off the openings of the birdhouse, and we were able to put his wife's ashes into the birdhouse because they love birds. So we
oh,
literally any type of container that's suitable. Typically, if people are wanting to know what size, most cremated remains for an adult size urn, it's about 10 it's 210 cubic inches of ash. That's about the average. And people say, well, how much is 210 cubic
yeah,
inches of ash? I
right.
usually say it's about the size of a loaf of bread.
Oh,
So
okay,
that's about how much ash we usually get. So
okay,
if you're looking at like a loaf of bread, that's about how much ash we would get. So we need a container that would fill that size of a container. So when you're looking, unless you're going with a lot of little keepsakes, you know, and taking some ashes out of the main container, you're going to need a kind of a fairly good size container. So that's where when people bring in like I said, a tequila bottle won't fit all the ashes.
no.
So
But they don't have to have all their ashes in one container. They could spread it out, right, for family
they
members?
can they can spread them out amongst their family members, so they don't have to be all in one container. And if we have to do that, then also the state and the county requires that everybody that holds cremated remains in their possession has to have like a little permit. So it has to have
Oh,
documentation. So if we do divide the ashes up, then
okay,
we have to do additional paperwork. So there is an additional cost to families that do
okay,
divide the ashes. So that's just something to make families aware of. If they are dividing them in multiple ways, and if we are handling the division of the ashes, then the state requires that we have to fill out documentation of where they're going and how much is being distributed. If you're doing it
interesting,
yourself personally, in which you have the right to, if you buy your own little keepsakes and take them home with you, you
right?
can you can divide your own ashes if you feel comfortable in doing that.
Okay,
Anybody that purchases an urn or keepsakes through our funeral home, we handle all the distribution of the ashes and get them in all the containers if they're purchased through our funeral home. If not, we'll help families. We can assist them, but typically we'll allow families to do their own filling of their own containers if they purchase their own urns. So then we're not liable for any damage or breaking of urns that they purchase.
right, right.
Yeah,
That's totally understandable.
yeah,
And that's great. And you had said, so I'm going to go off screen in a second because we had talked about. I know we talked. We've already shown a bunch of urns,
yeah.
but I wanted to have you. In fact, maybe when I go off, you could kind of do a little spin on your laptop since you're
Oh,
sitting in
sure.
the urn
Yes,
room. But it is fascinating to me of all the different options there are, and then I'll come back on, and then I wanted to talk about a little bit since we're talking mementos, the different caskets that you have available because that's another way to give tribute.
sure.
So I'm going to go off and let you share that as well
Okay,
about the urns.
you bet. So today we our show's a little bit different. Typically, I'm talking from my home, but today we wanted to bring it here into the urn room here at Thomas Miller Mortuary here in Cronin, where we have our largest display of urns. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to just pick up my laptop real quick, and it might be a little awkward, but I'm going to move it this way down the wall here, and you can see there's a lot of different urns on the walls that we have here. And as we go around the room here, I'm going to just spin in my chair. I'm going to go down to this end. This end over here, we have a lot of our jewelry, a lot of our keepsakes over there. And so again, we have a whole assortment. I'll go back one more time over here of everything. That's kind of cool. I'll get out of the way there. And down there one more time. Yeah. We also have a whole assortment. I'm going to see if I can, it's kind of awkward, but I'm going to get up real quick. And we also have, here is one of our rental caskets. And then we also have some displays over there on the wall. I hope
Oh,
we,
I'm going to interject for a second. Those
okay.
ones you just showed, and you're sounding a little echoey because you're away from your microphone, but
Yeah.
those are made by a local gentleman who I believe
Yes.
that is a veteran, and he makes those out of wood. He like
Yes.
hand carves them. Is that right?
Yeah. Those right there, those wooden urns are made from a retired veteran down in like the Wildemar Murrieta area.
Okay.
And so again, it's another local artisan that we use, just like the one down in San Diego. The blown glass is from like Santa Barbara. So we try to use local people
I love
instead
it.
of instead of like these large corporations that just make generic type of urns and they import them from around the world. We
Yeah.
try to we try to bring in special unique urns right here from California. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can not only keep an urn in your home, but you can also put that urn into a what do you call it at the
A
cemetery?
niche.
What's it
Yeah.
called?
A niche.
A niche? Is that what
Yeah.
they call the
Yep.
places?
At a columbarium. A columbarium is the area, but the
Okay.
individual little box is called a niche, of where you can put like basically like one of these types of urns, one of the little
Okay.
square urns
Yeah.
like that.
I can see. Yeah.
So you could put those like if you're wanting to take them to a cemetery or if you want to take them home, but you can inter any of these types of urns at a
And
cemetery.
and that's what I was looking for. Because when my mother-in-law passed away in 2020, of a stroke, she was 90 years old, God bless her.
Yeah.
She obviously, we had her funeral and went to the Riverside, cemetery. Her husband
Yes.
was in the military.
Yeah.
And what was interesting was, when they opened up the, I guess, niche,
Yeah.
his urn was in there because
Yeah.
they were gonna be buried together, right?
Yep.
And the gentleman at the Riverside, National Cemetery was so sweet. It was raining, so we're all under like umbrellas, and it was still kind of in COVID times. Everybody was like separated, but he said, "Would you like me?" Like, because we were all taking pictures, right? Because
Yep.
that's what you do for memories. And he said, "Would you like me to just crouch down?" Because it was on the lower level. And he took our phone, one of our phones, and he went in and he took a picture of Dad, like in his
Oh,
little in the urn.
yeah.
And then when he placed the mom, they were touching the little urns.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that's just their physical remain, like
Yeah.
they're in heaven, so they're
That's
not
right.
really there. But
Yeah.
it was sweet that he put the little urn so they were touching
Nice.
because they would have been married like 60, almost 60 years,
Oh,
and it was just so like we all were like, oh my god, it was
yeah.
so
Yeah.
romantic. It's silly, but yeah, but it was very special how people in your industry. I'm gonna get all teary eyed
Yeah.
are so and people will tell this on your Google. By the way, if anyone here goes to any one of Chris's properties, thomasmillermortuary.com, Walker Family
Funeral service.
Funeral Services.com, and Southern California.
Cremation Society of Southern California.
I obviously haven't not had enough coffee today on this
Exactly.
Friday.
Cheers.
If you go to any of those websites, Chris has his Google reviews built right in. We've updated the website to have those in there,
Yes.
and you can see the hundreds. He has off the charts record numbers for a small funeral home of
Yep.
positive Google reviews because people love your staff so much, Chris.
Yep.
Everyone, in fact, you have staff that's on this right now. Please chime in and say hi.
Yep. The
Your
staff's amazing.
your staff, they are handle everything with such care in the time where, as you said, this is your ministry.
Yes, it is.
In a time where people have such this grief and loss, and you guys just wrap your love around them, and I'm gonna
Yep.
get all teary because it
Yep.
is so special to read these reviews, Chris.
They are.
Oh,
And I couldn't do this today. I couldn't be here with you, Mary, and be talking to all these people out there if it wasn't for the great staff that I have dealing and helping the families that we serve every day. So they're an amazing group of people that I work with at all my locations across all my brands. It's just wonderful. They love what they do,
yeah,
and they love serving people just as much as I love serving people also.
yeah, that's great. Seriously, I'm gonna it's so lovely because I've seen it in action and how much
Yeah,
they love on people and the love that is returned to them. So I can see why people come back to you for other family members or
yeah,
refer people to you because you will take such great care of them. So
absolutely.
okay, so our last question, and I'm sorry, we're like
We're
it's
going long today.
I know. So did you have any, because the last, like, we kind of already touched on it about the different urns. Was there any other urns that you wanted to share that you pulled,
I
or
think I
have we
really,
kind of finished it?
I think I pulled them all today, Mary. I think we covered it all. We did a really good job. I mean, again, we have urns for biodegradable urns that kind of go into the earth. We have ones that can go into a burial situation at a cemetery in the ground or in a niche. We have beautiful pieces of artwork that you can take home and keep on display. And you've got jewelry, and you've got an assortment of metal jewelries. It's silver and gold jewelry or blown glass jewelry that you can keep your loved one close to your heart. So
I
We
love
have
it.
options, and that's the beauty of coming to Thomas Miller Mortuary. We give you a great education on all the options of memorialization for your loved one. So
Yes.
take the opportunity. If and there's never a wrong time to come in. Come in when you're not needing this. One last thing, Mary,
Oh,
in
wait, I'm gonna
regard,
go off. You were talking about, yeah,
I
I
was
think you're
going to
gonna,
talk about the Thumby one last time.
okay, I'm gonna go off so you can share all, because I want to
Okay,
give you all the space.
okay. So before we go today, it's the one thing I want to mention is about the Thumby program, and this is the one where you do the little thumbprint and you do the pendants. These are gifts that you can do at any time. You don't have to wait till your loved one dies. We've had families come in and bring in the children to give a pendant to grandma with the 3 or 4 thumbprints on one pendant. And what we could do is we have it's a little iPad that we have our family members. We bring it up to our front lobby, and you can just give us your name. We put your name and your thumbprint in the little machine, and then we send it off to the company, and we can have a beautiful pendant made within about 2 to 3 weeks and have it shipped to you. It could be a little sterling silver pendant, which would be a wonderful gift for Mother's Day, for grandma, or a memento at any time. Or you could do the same thing for dad for Father's Day. You can put your children's thumbprints on a little disc for the golf or the decanter. So you don't have to wait until your loved one passes away. You can do this now and enjoy the spirit of them with you every day. So that's just a little parting thought I wanted to give you here today. Before you don't need to wait, you can come in at any time to do a thumbie and a thumbprint memorialization for your loved one.
I love it. Yes, I'm glad we can end on that because it's so true. And I don't know if there's time right now for this Father's Day. I mean, Father's Day is coming up in a couple weeks. There's probably
Yeah,
too late for that. But you can celebrate your dad anytime. But I think that would be
absolutely.
nice for a Christmas gift or planning ahead for a big, like you said, like maybe grandma's 80th or 90th birthday. I don't know.
Yep.
It would be fun. So I think it's awesome. And you said that maybe this is a odd question. What if your loved one passed away and you still have the remains at home? Let's say you have an urn at home.
Yes,
Could you bring those ashes in to make something now? Like, could you
absolutely. Yep.
really?
If you have mom and dad from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago and say, you know what, I want to go in and I want to do a blown glass globe, you can do it. If you want to turn them into parting stones, little stones, you can do that. Just bring them in and we can handle that for you.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you can have those. That was one thing I was going to ask you. Can you have those parting stones etched if you wanted
You
to put
you
dates on them?
you don't you can do it with a marker, but they wouldn't etch them. They won't
No,
engrave on the stones, but you
no.
can after you get them back, you can take a Sharpie marker and you could write on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because just one more thing.
You bet.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it. This has been quite the education.
Really?
And know that, again, this is not anything that people have to do. This is
No,
all if you want to do it. If it's something
absolutely.
that you choose to do that, and with pre-planning your funeral, you could also designate, right, certain things that
Absolutely.
you might want included in your own funeral. Like you think, I want everyone to have a little
Yes.
piece of me. You want a piece of
Everybody
me?
wants a piece of you, Mary.
Oh, same with you. Yes, I love that. Okay, so that's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate it.
You
So this
bet.
is our last show for this month.
Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in on us. If you have questions that you would like us to turn into a show topic, we would love to know. So please comment below, and we will always look back. Or if you have any questions, comment below, and we will circle back and answer those questions for you as well. So until next time, Chris, any parting words?
I just want to wish everybody a happy and safe Memorial Day.
Oh,
Remember
yes,
all those people that sacrificed their lives for us to have the freedoms that we have here today. So it's
yes,
about those and remembering those that have lost and sacrificed their lives and the family members that have lost their loved ones in their fight for our freedoms here today. I want to just say thank you for your sacrifice of your loved one and remembering of what we have here today here in America.
yes.
So
We are the home of the free because of
of
the
the
brave.
brave.
Yes. Oh, that was lovely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I know in the city of Corona, the Chamber of Commerce is doing an event
Yep.
on
They're doing
Saturday.
their Memorial Mile walk is from the chamber to the downtown Civic Center, and it starts tomorrow morning right around 8 o'clock. Everyone can meet at the chamber, and
Okay.
it'll end at the City Civic Center. And everyone is welcome to join everybody down at the chamber around 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, Saturday morning.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then at the city hall,
Yes,
they put out flags, right? And you could
flags.
put out a flag in the grass as a
That is
tribute
correct.
as well. Because it's, and this is something too that I think we were talking about this. It's not proper to say happy Memorial Day.
No, it
It's
just
not a happy.
no,
It's
just
it's a
Memorial Day.
remembrance and an honoring of those who gave their lives
Yes,
for our freedom. And so, what a beautiful! I have better heroes in my family that have passed on, and so it's a time of remembrance and
yes,
honoring of their service,
yes,
which they gave their all for us.
yes.
Yes, I love it. All right, Chris, thank you so much, and have a glorious weekend, everyone. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next Dialogues About Death with
You
Chris
bet.
Miller. And thanks again, Chris, for all you do.
Bye bye. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.